In the 1800s, gold was the best idea. However, gold is not good money, and there are three clear reasons for this. It's not conservative for one thing. Every 35 years, they double the amount. So the gold miners keep making it worth less. Two, you can't keep the gold for yourself. You can't keep $1 million worth of gold for yourself. It turns out you need to trust a bank or a third party. Because of this, it makes violence and crime more likely, but you have to leave it to a bank. Then, since the other party has it, they usually make 100 ounces of paper gold for every ounce of real gold. This is done over and over again to lower the value. So, gold won't be the basis for sound money in the 21st century. It's not fast enough. That's not possible. You can't take care of it yourself. It's also not hard to find. How dangerous is it that fewer big companies hold more Bitcoin? If there is more Bitcoin and more Bitcoin is held by these third party custodians, does that make it more likely that Bitcoin will be seized and taken away like gold has been? Isn't that exactly what Bitcoiners don't want to happen? Maybe it's the other way around. If a lot of crypto anarchists who aren't controlled and don't believe in the government, taxes, or reporting requirements hold Bitcoin, I think that makes it more likely that they will be taken away. You have an OG crypto group that is very rigid about it. 99% of the money is in the regular economy though. When the Great Depression hit, people thought their gold was safe in banks until the 1933 executive order changed that. That means we are not completely safe. Even though it seems crazy to think that might happen again, history does repeat itself. This means that people's Bitcoin wouldn't be completely safe. That's said by some, but mostly by fearful crypto anarchists, okay, because it's a common lie and theme that keeps coming up. First, though, he didn't really grab the goal. People turned in the goal on their own. They didn't go to everyone's house, arrest them, shoot them, and take their goal. That did not happen. Do people in the US agree with Bitcoin? We might be soon. But that's not really the point, is it? It's not even close to a fair measure. You can read Saylor's most recent comments, in which he says that people who want to keep their bitcoins themselves are crazy. That made a lot of people in the crypto space angry. As you can see from the comments, some big names in the space have said things like calling stuff custody crypto and anarchism oversimplifies what Bitcoin does. When you own something, you have the right to own it. It's about freedom of speech and property rights, and Jameson Lopp and Vitalik Buterin also said they didn't agree with what Saylor said in the video you just watched. You can kind of see how Saylor is changing his tune in the first clip from a few years ago, when he first got into the space. But he did reply with a tweet that says, I support self-custody for those who are willing and able to have it, the right to self-custody for all, and freedom to choose the form of custody and custodians for individuals and institutions. In general, Bitcoin can be invested in by any type of business or person, and it should be open to everyone. Seems like Saylor's ideas have changed a bit. But he still knows that self-control is one of the most important things that makes Bitcoin so strong. Bitcoin can be owned by anyone in the world, and no one can take it away from you. Some people think that Saylor may have changed his mind here because of this. The Attorney General of Washington, D.C. sued Saylor 2 years ago for tax theft. In the report they sent, they used a podcast clip as proof that Saylor talked about losing Bitcoin in a boating accident. And this video clip really went viral. This is what he means by if they tried to come in and tax your Bitcoin, he can just tell you to FAQ yourself to the government. That led to a case against him. He might be just changing his tune to make the government happy. Because Microtrack is the world's largest company that owns Bitcoin right now, I'm sure Saylor doesn't want to get into any legal trouble with the SEC, the CFTC, or the government in general. Yeah, we're going to talk about some big MSTR news that's coming up soon, as well as some new Bitcoin news. Do not forget to like and follow. It seems like every day we add new Bitcoin MicroStrategy lessons. Thank you for watching all of our movies. You can see right here that Bitcoin and MicroStrategy are about to get some pretty big boosts. The MicroStrategy financial report is due at the end of the month, and the US elections are coming up soon. In my view, it doesn't really matter who wins the election, Trump or Kamala, as long as Trump wins. If Trump wins, however, I think Bitcoin will definitely go up. Over the next year, I think Bitcoin prices will go up. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments part. This is just my opinion. This calendar doesn't show the November Fed meeting on the 7th date that it should. I think we have the job numbers on the 1st. I also think that's a very important day to keep an eye on there. In terms of earnings, the MSCI quarterly view QQQQ has placed it. Today is a big day. This is when market strategy is ranked so that it might be added to the Nasdaq. As you can see, it has to be in the top 75 for this Nasdaq 100 chart. Thanks for all the work Ben put into making this. If you want to follow him on Twitter, you can do so here. Right now we're at number 75. It's been going back and forth between 80 and 75, but we're now in the top 75. That's why November needs to go well. Doesn't fall away, drop out of the top 75 and not get into the Nasdaq. And this would be very important for MicroStrategy. There's a lot more money coming into the business, which means that someone can buy more Bitcoin there. After the December meeting, the Fed will meet again. I think it's important to keep an eye on the job numbers during all of these meetings. The number of jobs. A rise in inflation could cause the market to drop, which could lead to fears of a recession. This is something we're keeping a close eye on, and November 1st is the next date for that. We looked at October 4th, and after the positive job numbers, we thought that October would be a very bullish month for Bitcoin and crypto, and it has been. That's why we'll be paying close attention to November 1st. The QQQQ addition and deletion announcement is on January 13th, 2025, and the historical oil exploration is on January 17th, 2025. The new president takes office on January 20th, 2019, and the next Fed meeting is on January 29th, 2019. The next thing is MicroStrategy's Q4 results. Here are some more things. The last FASB time comes next. When MicroStrategy chooses to use the FASB accounting method, it could really change how people see the company because it will change how their balance sheet shows possible profit. That could cause a lot of foam to show up. Everyday investors and people in general don't seem to understand what this FASB accounting method is going to do for MicroStrategy. It actually gives you a reason to hold Bitcoin compared to the current accounting standards. That sounds like a big thing to keep an eye on next year. It's also very interesting to think about this. The Bitcoin spot ETH has joined the Bitcoin cap table this year. These are just a few of the organizations that are getting into Bitcoin and holding BTC through that spot ETF. A lot of these are going to go through that BlackRock spot ETF for sure. But when the first ETFs came out in January, a lot of people said MicroStrategy would lose value and MicroStrategy stocks would do very badly. But I believe the opposite took place in this case. When these ETFs first came out, they really sent the price of Bitcoin through the roof. As you can see, we saw huge amounts of money come in when they first came out, and that's continued to happen, which has been good for MicroStrategy because it's helped the price of BTC. And because the ETFs made the price of Bitcoin go up, the price of MicroStrategy also went up. This meant that MicroStrategy could borrow more money to buy more Bitcoin because the price of their stock was higher.